So, good evening again, everybody. Welcome to tonight's Storyteller webinar. Hi, Kevin. How are you?
Yeah, very good, Jay. Lovely to speak to you again.
It's great to have you back. And I realised when we were chatting this morning, we're having a bit of a catch up. I thought it was a year ago, but it's actually about a year and a half ago since we had you
Yeah,
last.
yeah.
The-
Time flies. Time
it
flies.
absolutely flies, but it was great chatting to you, and it was just like it was yesterday. So great having you back. I've had a sneaky peek of tonight's presentation, which I am excited about. It's easy for me to say that, but it's a bit of a twist today, and I love the idea of the client for life. I know we're going to talk about that in a little bit in a minute before I hand it over. But Kevin, just before we do get started, and for those people who might not have heard of you, a little bit of your background, please, mate. How did you get to where you are, and obviously the successful wedding photographer and portrait photographer that you are today?
Right, that's a really good question to start off. I mean, a lot of people don't know that I actually started life as a professional footballer. I played for Norwich City, but it didn't last very long because unfortunately, after 6 months, I had a serious pelvic injury. So basically, the doctor then, who was basically the manager, was John Bonds. And he said, you're going to have to pack up football or basically end up in a wheelchair. So there wasn't really much to think about on that. But as a 16-year-old, you think, oh, your life's ended. But I took up photography. My dad was a wedding photographer in the 50s, and I started life actually as a motorsport photographer. For 15 years, I worked for Motoring News and Autosport, covering basically Formula One, club meetings, British touring cars, and I actually photographed the late great Ayrton Senna when he was dueling for the championship in F3 with Martin Brundle. So quite a history there. But how I got into wedding photography was by pure chance, would you believe, Jay? Two friends of mine were having a double wedding, and unfortunately, the photographer they booked at that particular time couldn't make the wedding. So they came knocking on my door, asked me to photograph their wedding. I was a little bit reluctant to start with, but I photographed a double wedding. So we had two brides, two grooms, had the time of my life. And I thought, oh, this wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So I bought all the Brundle SQBs, and here I am all these years later as a full-time professional wedding photographer, Jay. So a little bit of a history. I can't dwell too long on that because we got a great presentation to talk through as well.
No, agreed. And I completely forgot about the football until that.
Yeah.
I think you surprised me with last time we were on, which was amazing. Brilliant.
Well, a lot of people like to forget about it because not everyone likes Norwich City. But when you're a 16-year-old, you don't care who you're going to sign for. But I didn't mind at the time, but that was part of my history.
Brilliant. Thanks, mate. So, okay, before yes, we've got a great presentation. What excited me about when, obviously getting you back, but when you sent me over your idea and you said a client for life, I thought, what a great topic.
Yeah,
So, as much as, we've been, we know you as, a wedding photographer. But what I loved was that, it isn't just about the wedding photography. It's about
no,
where you can go from it and beforehand as well.
exactly.
And the amazing use from the sneaky peek that I had this morning chatting to you of how you utilize Fundy to the max to make that happen for you, which is fantastic. So, guys, we're going to have obviously Kevin's got a great presentation ready for you. We're going to show you some Fundy stuff as well. Just to let everybody know, Kevin, because of the bandwidth, we're going to use low res images though in the
Yeah,
presentation, right,
yeah,
in Fundy, just so it runs smoother for you. But obviously, you would upload your full res images normally when using Fundy on that. Kevin, I'm going to give you
exactly.
the screen, my friend. So it's going to come over to you now. Let's make sure I give it to you. Yeah, you should be
Yeah,
getting.
can you see it?
Uh,
Hang on, I've just got to click on it. There you go.
I'm seeing it in full screen. So I'm going to go quiet. So guys, just
Yep.
remember Natalie's online with us as well. So any questions for Fundy or any questions for me or Kevin, please pop them through the question panel. Kevin, it's all yours, my friend.
Thank you very much indeed, Jay, and thanks a lot, guys. It really is a pleasure and an honour to be presenting tonight. You know, I've been a long admirer of the Photographer Academy and also the tools that I use within my photographic career, Fundy and Loxley's, but we will be talking about them in great detail a little bit later on. So the basis of this webinar is how do you keep your clients for life? Hard, but there is tools available and the way you deal with business to try and make your clients use you for every photographic assignment in their lives. So this is a beautiful couple that we met a couple of years ago. They came into the studio, looked at our wedding work and booked us for their wedding. This is Lauren and Ollie. Ollie's is an Australian, and he moved over a few years ago, and they got married at Channels. But when we got the booking, we thought, and along with all our other clients, how do we keep these guys, keep using us and keep spending money? So you've just won a wedding. How do you try and keep the client for life? This is what we do. It doesn't mean it's right. It's not going to suit everyone, but it works for us. So there are things we at Pengelly Photography do to try and keep our clients using us for their photography for life. The first thing that we do, we always offer our bride and groom a pre-wedding shoot. Now there's two reasons for this. One is to get to know the couple's to get to know us, and also it's a great opportunity to sell some products. Now, a lot of people fall foul on this one and don't really reap into the rewards that you can get from this. And this is why I'm a great believer in using Fundy. Fundy, honestly, guys, has changed my working life because it's actually earns us more money. Hard to believe, but you'll see why when I'm going to press the next few buttons. So we photographed a pre-wedding shoot. We don't always go to the venue they're getting married because we're believing that basically it's the same venue. Yes, they're in different attire, but we like to go somewhere different. So this couple got married at a place called Channels. And so we chose another place which was central to us called Highlands House. Beautiful location. It's basically where a pop festival, the V Festival, used to be held. So it's great prospects for great photography. So you've got all these pillars, you've got acres of ground. So we got some lovely shots. So this is the first opportunity of selling products to your clients. Now, hopefully, how many of you guys actually sell save the date cards? This is one thing that we try and sell to our clients as soon as we photograph their pre-wedding shoot. What I'm going to do, guys, is just come out of my presentation and show you how to do this in Fundy. So if you just bear with me a moment. And here we go. This is where Fundy comes into its own because you can design a save the date card in Fundy. Basically, you can do everything in Fundy, from designing cards, you can design your brochures, your magazines, your wedding albums, wall art. It's an absolutely fantastic program. Not because I'm an ambassador with that. I'm a great believer in using tools that can actually earn you some more money. So this is just a little mock-up that I've done for you guys tonight to show you what you can achieve. Now, if you didn't like that design, what you can do is go into layouts, which is that little icon, and hopefully we're not going to get the beach ball of death when we do this. Just bear with me a moment while it's just loading. But what it's going to do, there's a series of templates. Now, this is the beauty with this, because if you go up into filter design, you just click on that, and then you can have baby, boudoir, client how, family, graduation, etc., etc. So you just click on save the date, and then all these templates come up. So if there's one that you don't like originally, you just scroll through and then look how many templates there's available for you guys to use. It's a great tool to use. So that's the first opportunity that you get to sell a product. So you photograph the pre-wedding shoot, you send them a design, and they approve it. And I will talk about how clients approve their albums later on. Okay, so what you also can do is design an album, and what we do is do a little basic album, and we use Loxley products. And this is the great thing about it, because if I said to you I could actually design an album in milliseconds, a lot of you would say, yeah, that's not right. But there's a little function button down here called auto design. What you can do is click how many pages you want in your album. So we've done a basic album in here, so you could select 20. It tells you the amount of images you want. okay, that you're going to actually put into your album, and then you can click design. I'm not going to do it at the moment because it will alter the design that I've got online here at the moment, but you just click design, and literally milliseconds later an album design will come up. Now, if it's not quite right, that's not a problem, because what you can do is go into your selection, and what you can actually do, this is the great thing, you can actually program the auto design into grouping images together. And what I've done, you'll see shortly what I've done with these on wall art. So we just select these 3 images, and then I'm going to ungroup them, but I'm going to want those 3 images to go on to wall art. So I just group them together, and then it'll link all these images together. And that's the fun thing. So basically, if I want that image as a main page, I can click that one, and that's going to tell the auto designer how to basically put that image on the page. If you want that one, because it's quite a panoramic view, I would rather that be a panorama. So that will go across 2 pages. I will go into this in a little bit more detail when we come to looking at wedding albums designs. So we come out of that. So this is the great thing. So you've designed your album, you want to send it to the client. All you do is you go up into this little icon on the top right hand side, and then you click export for proofing. So all you do is click that, and then we've just put it in the pictures. I will cancel that out. Okay, it will proof the album, and then there's another product called Design Proofer. That's an online function that you go onto a website, you put it into there, then you send it to your clients. All they need to do is approve the album and then send it back to you. So that's 2 options already, and you haven't even photographed the wedding. You've done the save the date card and a little album for their pre-wedding shoot. Now, this is a great piece of software that basically what you can do is click onto Lauren and Ollie's wall art, and hopefully that's not going to take too long. Now, if they've got a picture of their room, you can actually put their picture into the program. As long as you know a known dimension, there's a ruler tool here that you click on, you scroll across it, you put a measurement in, and then you can show them exactly what their room is going to look like. And these were 3 images that our Lauren and Ollie bought from us, and they're quite a big size. Okay, but if you don't like that room, all you need to do is go into this, and in the actual Fundy designer, there is a selection of rooms that you can use just to show the clients what their room can look like. So we just come out of there and just go back into the presentation. Is there any questions so far, Jay?
Sorry, mate. In true fashion, I was muted.
Yeah, I'm going a bit quick on that. Is there any questions so far?
No, I think it's good. What I like, Kevin, is the clear. You've sorry, I'm babbling.
That's okay.
It's the emphasis is tonight, as much as obviously Fundy's brilliant for wedding albums.
Yeah.
This is maximizing and
exactly.
And you know what? Not enough people talk about it. I mean, these are the tools and the things that we've always done, but Fundy put them in one place, and why we're heavy on the Fundy presentation tonight. But all of these are absolutely brilliant marketing and business tools.
Exactly.
No, you crack on, mate. And
yeah, no problem. Excellent. Okay, so we've done save the date cards. We've sold them some wall arts for their pre-wedding shoot, and we've sold them a little album. So, showing you this, and this is the company that we use. A little plug for Loxley's, because I'm an ambassador for Loxley's. They are fantastic. So if you want any of the products, their print service is really good, because you can upload your prints. The next day you get your prints back. So that is a really good service. Now, one really cool thing in the Fundy designer, that Loxley's have got a direct export from the designer to their sales. So what you can do when you export your high-res files, you can directly order it direct to Loxley's. So that is a real cool feature. So that's the design we've done for Lauren and Ollie. And then this is basically how you can show an album in basically the design proofer, but we'll just come out of that and go on to the next one. So what we do is, before the wedding, we then have a pre-wedding meeting. And what we try to do, we try and make the couples really special because it's their big day. They're not just a number to us. They're basically classed as our first wedding. We always treat every client as our first ever wedding. And we try and make them special. And we always ask them, what do you want from your wedding? We don't just go out and do our own thing. We try and make their wedding a very, very special day. So after the wedding, depending on what the couple have booked, is another great chance of upselling. Now, this is the trick that we do. This is the wedding of Lauren and Ollie, sorry. This was a fantastic day. She wore a 50s style wedding dress, so it was a photographer's dream. We had the weather, we had a great couple, so it was a really good chance of making a really good album. So the couple choose their pictures. We will then design an album for them. Now, this is the cool thing about the album designer in Fundy. We're just going to come out again, and I will show you some of the little tricks that you can use. So we just come out of there, and we'll go into that one. So just bear with me a moment while it just loads. Right, so this is the first opportunity after the wedding that you've got to sell something else, and it's the thank you cards. Be interesting to know how many of you guys actually try and sell them a thank you card. They're very easy to design. There is loads of templates again, and this is just a quick mock-up that you got places that they can put their writing. At the back, I've just briefly put our web address, and then you can put your logo or any other details. But if you don't like that design, you just go into the layouts again. I know I'm repeating this, but it is quite important to show you the tools that are available in Fundy. So if you're a baby photographer, you can use all these tools. If you're a boudoir photographer, a portrait photographer, you can still use all the tools that are available to you to hopefully sell you more products. And then basically, the most important thing is making you more money. So just go into that, click the thank yous, and then you've got all these fabulous templates that come up. But you have got the option to actually design your own cards. So if you don't like any of the templates that within the actual designer, you can design your own. So that's another way of trying to earn some money. So you've done that, and then what you can do is go back into the wedding album, and then that's just going to load up, guys. So once again, you have got the functionality within Fundy to do an auto designer. At Christmas, you know what it's like. Everyone wants their album for Christmas. And last year, Fundy saved my life, literally, because the speed that I can design albums is phenomenal. If I said to you this album was just a basic design because the couple brief us on what they want, this literally took me 15 minutes. So if you've got 15 wedding albums to design before the Christmas deadline, 15 minutes of time is saving you a hell of a lot of time. Before I met the guys at Fundy, I was taking hours on end to actually design an album. Now, what you can do, you can design the album, but you can make changes. So if you want to change pictures, you can. All you need to do is just swap them around, and it's quite functional that you are in total control of your album design. Now, if you want to alter any of the pictures, you have got all these tools available. If you click on this tool here, that can take you straight in to your external editing suite. So Photoshop, Lightroom, that can take you straight in there to make some adjustments. But if you want to make adjustments on these, you can alter the spacings, the stroke, the shadows, round corners, etc. But if you want to click on individual images, You just click on the image, click on this tool, and then you can affect the opacity. You can zoom in and out. You can rotate it. So there's a lot of functionality within this program to get that design dead right. So if you want black and white, it has got a function to turn it to black and white. Personally, I take it into my external editor if there is another image that I want to change. But if you don't like that design, this is the cool thing. You can go into the layouts and change the design. This is how cool this program is. It's unbelievable what it can do for you, and hopefully it's going to earn you more money. Now, you've done your design, and then you just go back up into these buttons, and then you can click it for the proofer. That will then do a proof for you. You then send it to your design proofer. And this is really good because all our couples have given us rave reviews because it's so simplistic on how we design albums. I'm just going to go back into my presentation, and I'll go back into that one. So basically you've done your album design, and then you can go in there. So say for argument's sake the couple didn't like this particular picture. All they would do is click on that. I can't do it at the moment, guys, because I've only done a screen grab, but this is basically a web-based function that you can use within Fundy. So they just click on that and it'll come up as one. It'll go in the comments, and then they can write, please change back to color, or please take out a wedding sign, fire exit sign, or whatever. But hopefully there's no such things in there anyway. They will then click basically the pages that they've approved, then click send, and then it will come to you, and then you can make any alterations. But this is the cool thing, is you can't really order the album until you've approved all the pages, and that is really good. Now if you are a customer of Loxley's or Graphy, you can send this direct. So I'll just come out of this, okay, and then in Fundy what we do is, if we say export for print, I'm just going to choose that, select, and then that will go. If we click export, that will just export the images to that designated space that you put there, and then these are ready to print. Now what should have come up on there is basically you can order it direct to Loxley's or Graphy, whatever album company. Now they have got a lot of companies that use Fundy, so that is a really, really good tool. I'm not going to open this in Photoshop because it might affect the webinar. Any other questions so far, Jay? If you haven't muted your microphone.
I've remembered to get my very quickly ready for tonight. Kevin, a great observation more than a question. Going back to the pre-wedding shoot.
Yeah.
Verity just joined in with the fact that one of the things that, albeit I know we do it for making more money, but it was also to put the couple at ease with her as a photographer, which I thought was great. It said she found straight away that the bride was like stuck in the headlights. Her expressions were quite unnatural, and just by having a bit of a laugh and showing the pictures back, it made a massive difference on the wedding.
And that is really good because you get to know the couple. I mean, with a pre-wedding shoot, the only things to remember is normally you have got loads of time, and what we say to our couples, that please remember on your wedding day it is going to be slightly different because obviously you're under time constraints, Jay.
No, definitely. What was interesting when you and I were chatting this morning about today's presentation, one of the things that you said to me, which I think, I'm not sure if you touched on it or because we've gone past it now, but the pre-wedding shoot, from a business and a financial point of view, as long and you do it exactly the way we do it, is we make sure that pre-wedding shoot, yes, we give it away. Let's include it, but we do it in enough time before the wedding that they can spend money like you've shown on the wall.
Exactly. That, sorry to cut across you there, Joe.
That's
That is a really important thing to say, is don't have your pre-wedding shoot too close to the wedding, because they've got other expenses coming out prior to the wedding, which is normally we try and do the pre-wedding shoot 2 months, at least 2 months prior to the wedding. So at least they've got an opportunity to spend some money. They can send it out to parents, grandparents, etc., to see if anyone wants to order. But I mean, we should also talk about, there's the opportunity to sell signing boards and various other things like that as well. So there is a multitude of avenues to try and get customers. Please remember, not everyone is going to buy these things, but at least you're giving them the opportunity to spend some money and hopefully earn you some money. That's the important factors.
And what I also thought was interesting, and again, I brought it up because it was really interesting when we were chatting earlier, is that you actually purposely use a different venue to the venue of the wedding.
Yes, exactly. And so that was just a conscious decision. I mean, obviously the other guys don't have to do that, but it was just a conscious decision that we wanted to do, that basically they're getting similar shots. Yes, they're going to be in a wedding dress and suit, but we like to use, I mean, we're very fortunate where we live, Jay. We've got country parks, we've got lovely little woodlands and various other places that we can go to take pictures. But obviously, being wedding photographers, we've been very fortunate that we photographed around the country. So it's a good opportunity for us to go to various different places as well, to photograph different locations. But it's really good because, as that lady said earlier, it does get you on a really good footing with your couple, and they're a lot more at ease on the wedding day.
We had I will share this briefly, not to cut too far into your presentation, but we had a wedding, a pre-wedding shoot request. They said, oh, we want to do it at the place where we met. And we went, well, that's fine, no problem at all. And it turned out to be the platform of a very grotty train station. Where they both went to work every day, and they met on the train, and they eventually got the guts to talk to each other. So we thought, oh my God, what are we going to do? So we did go and have a look. And you know what, this is going to be great. And we put them on different sides of the track, and then we got them closer. And then there was a lovely, not a horrible, but there was a lovely overgrown sort of walkway to the platform. And it turned out to be one of the strongest pre-wedding shoots we'd ever done. And again, done it in plenty of time. That yes, the save the date card, I think they even used that in the end for their thank you cards as well. But it's a really, really valuable tool in the sales process. So more than just the wedding. It
definitely is. And this is the beauty with Fundy, because they've got a package here that gives you the ability to sell. Is it okay if I just go into the next bit, Jay, on the selling wall arts and everything? Yeah, fantastic. So basically, you've sold them the album, and then they want frames. So once again, you can click on the actual frame bit, hopefully if it's going to load. There you go. This isn't their front room, by the way, guys, but you can download an image of their front room. Once again, if you know a known dimension, you can put that in, and then you can see exactly what that picture likes. Now, if you want to actually change the actual frame, you've got all these different frames. Now, these are Loxley frames that I've got here. So that is showing you how their picture will look on the wall. So they went for something very simplistic and basically went into their wall color. So once again, that is another opportunity to sell wall arts, and that was one of their favorite pictures, because the way Lauren was laughing and looking at Ollie, it was just a great image. Now, it doesn't end with the wedding. What we always do a year after their wedding is we always send them an anniversary card. Now, the reason we do that is just to keep them, sort of keep us in their minds, to say that we're thinking of them and basically still available if they need anything from us. So we've just done that one. Let's just click through this. So we designed the album, thank you cards. Now, if the couple is blessed with children, this is another opportunity, because what we always say to our couples after the wedding, we'll send them a nice little letter with a little card and say, if you have any children, please keep us in mind. We will photograph your children for you. We don't do newborns. Okay, that isn't our field of photography. I did do that for 5 years, but unfortunately it wasn't for me. Nothing wrong with it, because there is some fantastic newborn photographers out there, but we'd rather do environmental portraits of children, and they were quite specific in they wanted to go back to where they had their pre-wedding shoot. So once again, there is another opportunity to sell products. You've got the chance to sell some birth cards, prints, albums, and enlargements. So there's still quite a broad spectrum of opportunities to sell to your clients. Okay, this is hopefully keeping you in their minds for throughout their lives. I mean, I'll give you an example. We've got another couple that we photographed pre-wedding shoot. We photographed their wedding. We photographed their first child, Wilfred. Carlene is now expecting her second child. So we're going to the local woods again where they had their first shoot, and we're photographing Wilfred with mum and dad and doing another shoot. So this is the important thing, is that you use Fundy to sell all these products. There is a multitude of products in here. You can do collages, and the most important one is that you can actually make brochures from these to go into your studio to show the clients all your images. So these are the fundamental tools that you can use to sell products. So starting from the beginning, you get the wedding. The first thing you do is offer a pre-wedding shoot. We include it in the package. You've got cards to sell, you've got albums to sell, wedding albums, etc., etc. Any other questions so far, Jay?
You just touched on something that was asked, and I wanted to touch on it anyway, Kevin. Is
Yeah,
that
fine.
You mentioned that you obviously you sell a package. My question to you was, and it was asked sort of loosely in the question panel as well,
Yeah.
is that the things that we've talked about today, going through, I would say going through to obviously from the pre-wedding shoot to the wedding, and
Yeah.
obviously your thank you cards. Is that those are those things all included in your wedding package?
Yes.
Or yeah,
Yes. Yes,
brilliant.
they are.
Okay.
They are. But basically, we include that in the package because, without sounding funny, they could get their thank you cards done on the internet quite cheaply. We want them to use our pictures and our products. So we basically put it into our packages that when they book us, they're going to get a pre-wedding shoot, they're going to get thank you cards, they're going to get an album. I mean, we offer 6 wedding packages, so hopefully it suits all needs, but it's included in, because what we found over the years, everyone's going to be different though, Jay. You know, every client's going to be different, every photographer is going to be different, but this is what works for us. What we found over the years, if you say to them, oh, the cards are going to be an extra 50, 60 pounds, for example, people are always reluctant to spend extra money because they've already spent quite a bit of money with the wedding album, etc. So we include that in. So we've already made our money, so to speak, but it's keeping those clients using us throughout their lives.
Oh no, absolutely. And I think it. Yeah, we do exactly. It's amazing. Well, it's not amazing. It's good because that's why we've got you online with us. But our structure for our wedding
Yeah,
structure, Mark Clegg on Photography, is exactly the same. So
yeah,
we've always long, yes, like you, we're absolute advocates of Fundy, but we still did the save the date cards. We did, the thank
yeah,
you cards, and now the beauty, like you said, is that it's linked to our lab and it's all in one place for us in design, and we include it in our packages because for us, the only sort of real upsell that we did actually is the wall art. So
yeah,
wall art and additional albums, and even our wedding packages have so many albums per
yeah,
package anyway. But the wall art is the only additional what we usually upsell. We don't tend to
yeah,
include the wall art in any of our packages apart from our very top one.
yeah,
So the card. So going back to the save the date card and even the
yeah.
thank you card, they included in all your different packages, Kev.
Yes, yes, they are. They're all different packages. I mean, all of our packages now are all-day coverage. It's very rare that a couple want half-day coverage, and what we mean by that is bridal prep up until they physically sit down for their wedding breakfast. What we tend to find is that couples want us there for most of the day. So on this particular album, I will show you, we stayed into the evening for the speeches and the first few dances in the evening. What we do with our clients, we don't stay for the whole evening because it is a long day, and people do tend to get a little bit intoxicated sometimes, and you know that they want the silly pictures, and obviously we've had a few minor problems where cameras have been tried to be taken from us, so we only stay for the first dance and the first few dances afterwards, and that's how we work with our packages, Jay.
Brilliant, mate. Thanks. No, you crack on, bud. I've got a few more questions for you, but they're kind of general, so I'll hang on to them for a minute.
No, that's absolutely fine. So what we tend to do as well, let's just go back into the presentation. Okay, let's just go onto there. It really is important that throughout your photography I know it sounds obvious, but you have got to do a good job. You've got to make sure that you cover all the bases. You photograph the wedding, the pre-wedding shoot, the basically the family portraits, etc. How the couple wants. Now, with our couple, I'll just go back into the actual design. They really wanted a relaxed wedding, and it's so important that you don't become obtrusive. Now, just so people know how we actually work, that when couples come to see us, we don't do countless group shots, because the experience has told us that over the years that unfortunately guests aren't really interested in group shots. So what we tend to do, we only do 7, but the couples know that when they book us. They're not couples that want countless group shots. So we just do the main large group shot, bride's family, groom's family, friends, bridal party, parents. That's the 7 shots. So then we can concentrate on getting great couple shots and then reportage shots, because that's what we specialize in. And hopefully you'll see that in the album. Let's just go back into the album. So we only do 1 large group shot there, and we try and do as many fun shots as well. Now, just another thing to remember, that this is an important tool to remember in basically Fundy, is the auto design tool. I can't emphasize this part of the software enough, because it can save you countless hours throughout your photographic career. This isn't just restricted to wedding photography. You can use this for baby photography, portraits, commercial, etc. Because even with commercial, we've done some commercial jobs, they still have some product albums as well. So you just select the amount of pages you want, just click that in. There's a total of 87 images, and then basically minimum 1 per spread, maximum 6. But you can change these. So I could put 8 and then just click that, and then that will design the album completely for you. I will do this now, guys, and then hopefully it's going to show you how it works. So it's just going to do, yeah, that's fine. Just click that, and there you go. It's done it already. Did you see how quickly that designed that album? That was literally milliseconds. Now, it doesn't look too bad actually, but you can still go in to these albums and change the designs. So you still have got full editing control within the software to design your album. So we can change these a little bit. We can fit them in there and make them a little bit smaller. Now, once again, if you don't like the design, you just go into the layouts and you can change it to how you want. So you just click on that one, and then that does a design for you. So there's a lot of functionality within the pages that you can use. Now, if we go to the first page, let's just go into view there. We would normally have an opening shot. So what we could do is just bring that into here. That will click into there, and then we could have some writing. So all you would need to do is click on that icon, bring that in, and you could put some writing in there. So all you need to do is click on that. And this is a cool thing. That is quite big now, but we can change it. All you need to do is go into that tool there, and then you can just change it. It's as simple as that. And then you just bring the box in, bring it up to there, and then just put that there. So there's loads of tools within the actual software that you can use to change this. Now, if you wanted to change anything, you just click that and you can change it over. So there's loads and loads of tools available within the software to change things. Any other questions on that, Jay?
Not specifically on the album design, mate. No, we're all good.
No, anything else?
Well, I wanted to talk about albums. Oh, hang on a minute. Something. Oh no, hang on to that one for a minute because I need to read that one a bit proper. Have you got? No, you crack on for a minute, mate, and let me just sort through the questions. I don't want to answer it wrong.
Yeah, because I've only got a few minutes left on the presentation. Are we still okay on time?
Yeah, we're good on time, mate. If you rock through the presentation, and I'll hang on to the rest of the questions for the end bit.
Right, that's fine. Right, so just to recap, client for life, make sure you always keep the clients happy. If you do get a disgruntled client, always bend over backwards to try and help them. Always find out what the problem is. And I will be honest, I'm going to touch wood here. In all the years we've been in photography, we've only had 2 very minor complaints. Now, these are the kind of complaints we've had, guys. If you're new to wedding photography, we could write a book. We've actually been blamed for the weather. We went to a bride's house. The mother opened the door and she said, "What the hell have you done to the weather?" I said, "I didn't know my name was God." We've been blamed for the colour of hotel walls, and we've been blamed for the length of guys' trousers. So always be prepared for those kinds of eventualities, because you are the last in line. Basically, they've got married, they've had their foods, they've had the flowers. The images are the most important thing at the end. Okay, so the pre-wedding shoot is a good starting base to get your clients loving your work, because if you're looking after them all the time, what we're finding are our most popular products, is that couples love save the date cards. They love sending them to their families and friends, and basically that's extra business for us. Once again, use a designer. Use whoever you use. Loxley's is a great company that I use, but there is loads of other companies. Okay, but I've never ever had a problem with Loxley's. They're a fantastic printing company with albums, prints, and their enlargements. Their enlargements and frames are phenomenal. The design functionalities within Fundy is phenomenal. You can do a lot with the program to hopefully earn yourself more money, and that's what this is all about tonight, is trying to make you earn more money. What we don't do is we don't do the hard sell. We like our couples to trust us, and we're not trying to rip them off or anything. We give them a good deal. A lot of these products are included in our package prices, so they haven't got that little thing is, oh, by the way, that's another £150. But the extra bits are for the wall art. That's the only things that we charge extra for, is when they order frames. All these other products, the cards, the little booklets, etc., are included in our packages. This is a great product, is the design proofer. I am going to try and show you this, guys. Hopefully I'm not going to take up too much of the bandwidth on this, so hopefully this is going to show, if it's going to load. I don't think it's going to load, so we have to bypass that, guys. Otherwise, I would have shown you that. But they can have full control over their album. And what we've found, oh, this is another thing I almost forgot. What we tend to do when we design an album, let's just go back into Fundy, we will always put 2 or 3 extra spreads into the album. Okay, so they haven't chose the pictures, and we'll say, oh, we thought these pictures might look good in your album. So we always put 2 or 3 extra spreads within the album. So if they want them, that's absolutely fine. If they don't, they just click delete the page from the album. So it's as simple as that. And then we charge an extra bit per spread if they wanted it. So that's just a little bit of extra money that they could spend if they wanted. So that's a little trick that we do. And even on the pre-wedding shoot, we will put a page. We mostly put an extra page in a pre-wedding shoot. The most we will put in a wedding album is about 4. We don't try and push it too much, because basically the couples will think, oh, we are spending a hell of a lot more money. So we try and keep it as subtle as possible so it doesn't look like we're trying to fleece the couple. So this is just a simple auto design, so there's a lot of functionality within this. But don't forget, you've got the cards that you can sell, you've got the wall art which you can sell. So these are all products that you can sell extra if you keep those clients happy. Now, it doesn't end with basically the children. We've actually photographed graduations, graduation pictures. We've done nans and granddads, family shoots. So it is endless. So there's always opportunities that once you become their photographer, they will always think of you. We've got some 50th birthday parties. We've got a 21st birthday party to photograph. So once again, there's little nuggets of a revenue you can earn extra because they're always thinking of you. Any other questions, Jay?
I have got some questions for you, Bud.
Fantastic.
Excellent. But I found a great insight to obviously the way you work, and love the fact that we're practically on, well, we are on the same page. I think it's important in this day and age, especially with the amount of competition that
Yeah,
we have, and let's face it, wedding photography, portraiture, whatever it is, anybody with a decent smartphone these days thinks they're a photographer.
exactly.
But that's where we stand out from a crowd, really. But I think the key thing that you've just said tonight, even though obviously I know the focus has been the journey through the wedding, is obviously because that's the core of your business, which we know that, is that
Yeah,
all of these tools apply to, and you said it, it applies to any type of photographer,
exactly.
which is key, really. And using and having the design tools of Fundy all in one place just makes your workflow. I mean,
Ex
like you said, the time it takes you to do a wedding album. When we discovered Fundy, which I think was about 5 years ago, 6 years ago now, it was just, I remember when Mark said, you need to come and have a look at this wedding album. And I just
yeah,
went, okay. And he said, how long do you think it took me to do that? Well, I know Mark's quite fast, and I know he can usually do a wedding album in about half a day. And this is, prior to Fundy. And he had made his own templates in Photoshop
yeah,
for
yeah,
Loxley Color, because that's who we use as well.
yeah,
But still half a day. He said, I've just done that in an hour. And I went, what? He said, yes. And that was, that was back then, like you,
yeah.
he can do it in no time. But it's the other two. It's the what we've loved about Fundy, and obviously getting to know them, and Andrew, the man behind it all, he sees it from a photographer's point of view,
Yeah,
albeit he's obviously
exactly.
the techie that can put it together as well. But he sees all of these tools and he's always adding to it. I mean, like you said, the thank you card, the save the date, all of these things have always been in the workflow that I've ever, for as long as I've worked with Mark, which
Yeah,
is a long time now.
yeah.
But having all of those things and the versatility of the designs and the templates that Fundy offer is amazing.
Well, it
Kevin,
is. Sorry, go on.
I was just going to get into some of the questions.
Yeah, far away.
What I thought was, which was quite interesting, Angela asked us with regards to the save the date. Obviously, traditionally in the past, obviously the save the date has usually been announced about 12 months before, and of course we wouldn't.
Yeah,
But that's not, I would say that from my own experience is not typically the case. People are, when I got engaged, it
Yeah,
was still yet to be married. So if we had to save the date, it wouldn't happen yet, to be fair. But
yeah,
it's that quickly. It is. But we try to do ours as soon as we've got interest or a booking. And let's
mm,
face it, a lot of our wedding clients are booking us well in advance now. And once
exactly, exactly.
we try and do we normally, like you say, we do our try and do ours about 6 months in advance if we can.
Yeah,
And then obviously that gives us enough time for the save. But I think the wedding process, unless they're extremely organised, the 12-month is a bit of a thing of the past. I think personally,
yeah,
with a save the date. But I mean, the turnaround is so quick from the likes of
yeah,
ourselves and Loxley that they can be out there in a quick.
exactly.
Um, Kev, so going
Yes.
forward and touching on the mum and dad and the kids pictures, obviously that you've shown us
Yeah,
with the couple tonight.
yeah.
Do you do anything? I thought this was quite an interesting question. Do you do anything then in product wise that goes right back to the engagement shoot, if that was the first point, or are we just looking at the wall art and things like that with the post wedding photography?
No, we offer a lot of products. We offer trifolders, like the little freeway frames and things like that. So, say for argument's sake, we do a pre-wedding shoot, and mums and dads want to buy a product. They mostly only want 2 or 3 pictures. So we can actually do like a little book that opens up, and you've got 3 pictures in. So there is a vast selection that Loxley offer that you have got the ability to sell. So you can sell to the clients, you can sell to friends and family, and you can sell to nans and granddads. So the array of products give you that opportunity to sell. Does that answer that question
Yeah,
at
yeah, I
all,
think so. I
there,
mean,
Jay?
we found that personally, we found that we've been asked more. What do we refer to them as? We refer to them to like memory boxes and memory albums.
Yes, yes, yeah, we've got
Um,
all that as well.
yeah. I tell you what, we've touched on in the past, and I know you briefly mentioned it, but one of the things that we fell in love with, and our friend and your friend Scott, who did a
Oh yeah,
presentation for us a few weeks ago,
yeah, he's a great
Scott
guy.
talked a lot about the magazine
Yes,
designer within Fundy. And
yes,
not only was he creating fantastic, brochures, as you said,
yeah,
um, but so many young couples. I think he mentioned that he was actually selling this magazine style
yes,
engagement shoot or
yeah,
post wedding shoot
yeah,
type magazine. Through the likes of Loxley and other labs.
yeah,
They've got the slightly thicker covers. They're a bit more.
yeah.
They're not quite a coffee table book, but they are kind of a magazine, and they can be.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, because what it actually looks like, they've made a magazine like in Vogue or
Yeah,
something
exactly.
like that, and they can put that on their coffee table, and that is what we find. I mean, I'm a good friend of Scott's, and we often have a chat about things like this. But these are the things that you can sell. And
Yeah,
also one thing I should have said at the beginning is the power of print. I know Fundy are a great believer in this, and what I do when they come into the studio and they're deciding what package, we always try and steer them away as much as possible, not just purely for a USB.
yeah,
And what I do, we've got a big Loxley enlargement on our studio wall, and I get the USB out and say, what would you rather have? A USB stuck on your wall or this beautiful frame? And the message seems to get home. So every client that comes through our doors, we always try and speak to them about emphasizing you've got to have prints. Well, say you've got to have, but it would be really advisable to buy prints because they last a lifetime. And I know I don't really want to talk about this, but it seems to be a matter of fact that, do you know, when most people really start thinking about prints, sorry to talk about this, guys, is when someone passes away, Jay. And
no,
then
no,
they suddenly
yeah,
realise, and so many people lately have contacted us and said, "Oh, Kevin, you've taken a lovely picture of our nan or granddad. Unfortunately, they've passed away. Could we buy that from you?" And so that's why it's important to print products, not keep them on a USB drive, because we are becoming, or hopefully we're not going to become, a faceless society where everything's on a phone, a USB drive. Prints are powerful, and I'm a great believer in prints.
Print for us has never gone away. We've never,
No,
not that we don't sell the USB, but it's
exactly.
there. But no, we've always, and it is, we took completely on the same page with you, Kevin.
Yeah,
The power of print. That's a statement, and I believe, and it is back in every walk of photography.
yeah,
It absolutely works. Brilliant. Right, a couple of questions for you, Bud.
yeah.
This was a quite nice question, which I thought I wanted to share with you anyway. This is about your photography.
Yes.
Are you using any particular set processing or filters because you have a beautiful consistency to your work?
Oh, thank you very much. Right, what we do is we always export directly into a folder. We never ever sort of export from a card. We always copy, and then we take it straight into RAW converter. My wife will cull the wedding, and then I will edit the wedding. We will do basic presets on white balance, brightness, contrast, etc., etc. And then what I will do, I've got a series of presets in my Photoshop library that we will use. But what we do is when we present a wedding to a couple, we don't always open with the bride's shoes or the flowers or the dress. We will do highlights of the day. So the first 12 images, recently we had such a stunning wedding, we chose 20 odds because they were brilliant pictures. They were just a fantastic couple. So when they open their gallery on our website, the first 12 to 20 images are pictures of highlights of the day, Jay.
Brilliant.
So,
Brilliant, mate.
but
Thank you.
I use Nick software an awful lot, and Greater Than Gatsby, I use them a lot as well with my presets. But I'm thinking of changing, because what I like to try and do is keep everything current and modern.
Perfect, brilliant. The guys from Loxley, the guys from Fundy have already asked this question, but I thought it was quite relevant to keep it. The question Paul asked was, when you're using Loxley or Graphy or one of the labs linked
Yes.
to Fundy, is it easy to choose their albums? And the guys have already chipped in from Fundy.
Oh yes, yeah. In fact, I should have actually shown that. It is so simple. Let's just come out of that. Let's see if I can quickly show it, because I know we must be near time. All you need to do, let's just go into an actual wedding album. Let's just do a pre-wedding shoot. Okay. It's trying to get me to upgrade to the software on the Mac at the moment, would you believe? Right, let's just go into this. You've got loads of options. So you've got all these options here. So you can choose your print company. So there's all the album suppliers. Look how many album suppliers that Fundy have got. They're phenomenal. See, so you choose your company. Obviously, I choose Loxley's. Go to next. Choose that particular album. Click next. What size you want. There's all the sizes there. So you click on the size that you want, which was that one. Click next. That's that, no cover. Just put what the design is. Lauren and Ollie pre-wedding shoot. Click, and there you go. But if you're designing the album and you think, oh, I want to change that, you just go into that and change the album design. So then we go into an 8x12 and then click next, next, and save changes. And then it'll change it. It's as simple as that.
Brilliant, mate. I knew it was as simple as that, and I thought you might have
Yeah.
demoed it. So,
Yeah.
brilliant. Okay, so I've got. We're almost there. I've got one last question for you, Kev.
Yeah.
When we were looking at the thank you cards, and obviously you showed that you have your business web address on the back.
Yes.
Is that standard, or do you ever just give them the option to have it without?
Well, a lot of the actual designs come with sort of pre-text, and all you need to do is put your own text in it. Okay, so if I chose a different design,
Oh
once
no,
that's
no,
loaded.
sorry, mate. What I meant was, the thank you cards.
Yes.
You showed on the back that you had your business
Yes.
email, not business,
Yes.
your web address. Sorry.
Web address. Yes.
Is that do you just make that compulsory in all your thank you cards, or do you ever give them
Yes,
the
yeah,
option?
yeah. We always put that on there. That's our own preference because we want people to know where the card has come
Oh, I
from.
agree. And in our we do exactly the same. I know that there
Yeah,
are some people who give the option not to have it, but no, we have it on the back page
yeah,
like you do
yeah,
on everything we do. Um,
yeah.
Mate, fantastic. Thank you. There was the praise coming through here. Oh, have I missed one? No, sorry, the same question. I just thought I missed. Oh, what I wanted to touch on. I was having a private chat with Natalie, who is with us, but she's answered most of her questions in the chat panel, and I don't have anything else for her, but she might say hello. We'll see if she says hello. Maybe if she can remember how to unmute herself.
You can unmute a microphone.
Sorry,
Well,
I'm
well,
on now.
Yes,
Oh,
yes, we
well
have
done,
it.
Natalie. Well, one thing I must say, guys, before we do close this webinar, the Fundy guys are fantastic. I know Natalie's listening in now. Okay, please shut your ears, Natalie. But if you've got any technical questions or anything, they are brilliant. All you do is just send a ticket to support. Trust me, they come back very, very quickly. The support that I've got, not that I've needed it much over the time that I've been with Fundy, but it's great. So thank you very much, Fundy guys.
No, no pressure, Natalie. Excellent. No, it was nice. It's great, always great to have you on with us. I know that I say that I know a lot, but I did ask you a question tonight, which I thought was important that to get across is that as much as we've said and as Kevin has said that we use Loxley and we use Loxley also,
Yeah,
and obviously Fundy has these ties to the labs, and the great that the links are there that you can find their products, their albums,
yeah,
their frames. But what we need to emphasize is that you're not restricted to these labs at all. So
no, exactly.
any custom designs can be shared out. I asked the question to the guys at Fundy about the frames when we were showing the frames that you might have your own independent supplier, and can you upload your own corner, your own frame samples? And yes, you can. That's how
Yeah,
versatile it is. The tools that Kevin has shown you guys tonight, um, they're invaluable in your business today. Not only in how easy they are to use and how great they look at, but the time that it saves you. I know Kevin's touched on it. It is so important, especially when you're
yeah,
busy. That we want to be shooting more, and let's be realistic. The editing, the process, and the actual business of getting the client in is probably more time ever spent than the actual shooting, which is obviously what
yeah,
we want to do the
exactly.
opposite of. So getting any of this time back is worth every penny spent. Yes, I've talked about the fact that we get a discount from Fundy, but if nothing else today, if you're not already using Fundy, go and just do the free trial. I believe, Natalie, is just the export that they can't do in the free trial, right? I'm not sure if she's still there.
Yeah, she's muted.
Yes, can you repeat that? What?
Yeah, so I was just saying, with it, just if nothing else, I was saying how important it is just to go and do the free trial, if nothing else tonight, if they're not already
Yes,
using you guys.
absolutely.
But it's just the export facility that's missing, isn't it, from the free trial?
Yes. Yes.
I already knew that. Sorry to put you on the spot. Sorry.
No, I was going to say if Natalie, but I knew that one as well. But trust me, guys, it is well worth the money. Fundy will hopefully save you money and earn you money.
Oh,
That's the
absolutely.
thing. There's not many software programs that do that.
Absolutely. Kevin, I'm just going to take the screen back so for a few quick reminders. But before I forget, mate, thank you for your time tonight. I really appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you very much indeed, Jay, for inviting me.
Oh,
It's
no,
been a real honour.
always a
Thank you.
pleasure. And we'll get you back sooner, I promise.
No problem at all.
I honestly thought it was yesterday. Well, it wasn't yesterday, but a year and a half too
Yeah, I
long.
know.
Too long, too long. So look, we're going to leave you on the notes of, like we said earlier, yes, of course, you can go and do the free trial, fundy.com. But if you do want to save $100 on any of the Fundy suites, then use the code TPA 2019. I've shared all the links with you via the chat panel and the codes, and you'll also get a reminder email from us tomorrow with all the links in there as well, along with the Fundy links and the Photographer Academy links on there. So any recaps on that. And if you are interested at all in anything that we've talked about, as Kevin said, the support and the questions can be asked directly to Fundy if you need them, or of course to us here at the Photographer Academy. We'll be happy to answer them. And if we don't know the answers, then we'll get the lovely Natalie or Kirsten to get the answers for us. But we're getting pretty good at the answers now for these things. If you haven't done it already, get involved with Fundy on Facebook.com groups, Fundy Storyteller, a fantastic community and an insight to a lot more than we've had time to talk about tonight as well, with their products and the design facilities that are there. And as I said, if you're looking to change your wedding business overall and you're interested in the Experience Mentoring Program, then if you get in touch with myself or Judith or Kim at the office, then we'd be happy to share more information on that with you. As I said, that's launching in November. We've been changing portrait businesses across the country for the last 6 years. That includes Ireland and some European businesses as well. So if that is of interest, then get in touch. And then final reminder of tonight, if you haven't done so already, go and check out the Academy Big Photo Easy and completely free digital magazine that we put out from the Academy every month. That's the current issue, but there is a new one going live, I believe, once I'm given it, I believe tomorrow or the next day, which is phenomenal. I've had a read of it today on my lunch break, and it is another fantastic read. Thank you all for joining us. Natalie, thank you for being with us. Kevin, thanks again for your time.
Absolute pleasure.
We'll catch up with you all again real soon, and I believe we've got Kate joining us next month for Fundy, but I'll confirm that soon and get the links out there. Guys in Fundy, I'll speak to you guys both soon so we can catch up with everything that's going on. Kevin, we won't leave it so long, I promise, next time, my friend.
No problem at all. Thank you very much indeed, Jay. Absolute
Good night, everybody.
pleasure.
Take care.
Cheers. Bye. Bye.